entire MPL SG with 3 times champion Season 3, Season 4, and Season 5. But here we have right in front of them is NIP Flash that managed to get the most recent champions in Season 6 and Season 7. In some sense, we are quite literally looking at the draft of the champions. How is it gonna be like? Let's take a look exactly what we have with a Ruby and a Chip ban right off this bat.
Well, I'm actually thinking about RSG. Who is their main carry? Like, would it be Yon? Would it be Roy? Because Roy actually performed extremely well in Season 7. A lot of teams, they see him, they ban out the Kadita. Will NIP Flash actually do that or leave it open? Because Kadita is not really technically in the meta right now. There's a lot of better champions, so to speak, like the Zhas, the Jusin, that might be picked up by RSG. Roy might be able to play that very well, positioning, shown to be very good, but do you prioritize the assassins right now? Since the assassin meta, we've seen a lot of the other MPL regions banning out the Hayabusas, the Fannies, the Lings, but it's all open for in this game.
Interpretation as well, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes down to Yon, despite what Zarates mentioned about Yon, right? I still think that there must be a certain level of respect going over to Yon. As such, when it comes down to second pick, second ban, you naturally always want to ban out heroes such as a Ling, a Fanny, for instance. We have saw before how Yon played Fanny, so I wouldn't be too surprised that NIP Flash will want to target either one of these two, unless they themselves want to take the Fanny or the Ling for themselves, right? If you can ban out the Hayabusa, I don't think that that's going to make that big of a problem or that big of a difference, but
yeah.
It's probably all about opening up the pool, since Zarate decided to ban Chip, understandable, but when it comes down to Roger, perhaps not as I have originally expected. But it kind of seems as though it is just a counter ban from Youngin trying to ban out the Moskov because it paves the way for a Roger.
It's more of a balancing beam situation, because right now, since you know that you're gonna play an assassin, you open up both sides so that you limit the pool for the tanky heroes that you need to be able to maintain a very clean jungle. Especially the Jawhead, we've seen that resurgence a lot. That's the Phobius, the revamped Phobius, a physical damage Phobius as well. The Jawhead is an interesting pickup, especially popularized in MPL PH. The reason for this is because the early game damage that it deals is really nasty and insane for a lot of the jungles, especially the early jungle. I would say debuff before the 2-minute mark, you have a little bit less damage, or you take a little bit less damage on the invade. So that's one of the main sort of like counterplays.
Yeah, also you talk about MPL PH, I love it. Shout out to Reptar as well for sharing this stats as well. There is like a 47% win rate in MPL PH, and Jawhead like what 36% ban. So it's a very high number as well. And you talk about percentage, right? We also have to talk about the amount of bans as well. There's 19 bans, and then after that there's 10 win rates as well. So you start to see a little bit of a pattern coming out from the side of MPL PH. Jawhead is definitely a price value as well, and also used quite well in the hands of JPL.
Yeah, I think it's the double chain CCs going to Jawhead. But we have to move on to the first pick. Edith is a very comfortable pick for RSG.
In fact, very comfortable. I would not expect Edith being one of the first few bans, considering the fact that all of the assassins out there, Hylos, Zask, they are currently all available. In the meantime, NIP Flash, it kind of seems like they are setting something up here with a Harif as well as a Hylos pick. Jusin currently is still unpicked just yet. In fact, the way that they have unpicked, unbanned. So NIP Flash may actually be looking at quite a bit of a direction that they want to open with the Hylos as well as the Harif. As such, because of the fact that there is a Harif and the fact that the Roamer can still kind of work in many ways, it does seem like RSG SG is going to be working with the Jusin, especially since they first pick onto the Edith. Edith is, of course, a very strong wave clear hero in the early stages to really assist Jusin in the wave clear component in the start.
Well, I mean, Jusin doesn't really scale up until you get that level 4. You are able to just then rotate. We'll be able to see this as an opening pick for Roy, but the Fanny being picked up straight away, it just shows like, okay, Yon's very comfortable with the Fanny. Let's try to make things work for that. We've seen the age-old Fanny Ling battle once again. Moving on to the second phase of the bans, I think it's opened up for quite a bit of the EXP lanes. I'm I want to be shocked. I want to be surprised by Diablo's pick. I mean, he's always shown a lot of like off-meta heroes, especially in the regular season, because you know, you're just trying to test things out. You don't want to just conform to whatever the world gives you.
Unfortunately, I feel that he's gonna conform because we already have a high loss pickup. Very likely it is an EXP high loss. However, of course, you can double dip that into Rome as a flexibility option, but that also, we still have quite a lot of options that we can go around with. You wanted to see the Hanabi Lolita.
I actually do.
You wanted to see that.
Yeah.
Okay. I personally feel that if you want to talk about the Hanabi Lolita option, this is probably not the game for RSG. We can definitely expect Youngin wanting to pull that off. But this might actually just not be the game, because I don't really see any opportunity for Closer to actually play the Edith over to the EXP.
Yeah.
A very important point. Don't forget, Youngin used to be the coach of JPL, right? Back in the EVOS days, back in the Bleed and Slate days, right? Just take a look at what RSG has banned off. That's a Ruby, that's a Jawhead, that's a Cho. These three are the heroes that JPL likes to play.
Let's not forget about Grok as well. Especially when it comes down to the Grok and Cho, these two are the mainstay heroes for JPL to pull off exactly what he always do, being the tagger. You know, he's always the roamer tagger, or in some sense, the mid tagger, jungle tagger. As long as he's able to get these kind of escape heroes, he will always be able to provide vision for his team. Which in this case, I'm not too sure if whether, like you said, conforming. I'm not too sure whether JPL is going to conform to the societal norms, and if whether he's going to be playing based on what he's comfortable with.
Well, that's the beauty of the flex pick. JPL could go either ways. The Grok is still available. Diablo could pick up the Halos, go into EXP side. But I love what Jay's pointed out. Banning out the Ruby, the Jawhead, the Cho is basically JPL's signature picks, quote unquote. And I think Youngin really knows, like, JPL really sets that tone. He's a quiet person in real life, but in the game, he's making the shot calls, he's making the moves. And I think that is the strategy that RSG's working towards. So the question is, how do you mitigate a really, really aggressive roam? We know how JPL always likes to go into invades. How do you mitigate it? How do you protect your fanny?
Okay, so how do we mitigate his aggressiveness? I mean, it seems like Youngin has the answer, at least for now, right? Because when it comes down to aggressive roamers, it really depends on the kind of heroes that they pick, if whether it allows them to be aggressive. In this case, the Cho and the Grok is what allows JPL to be aggressive. When it comes down to any other roam heroes, I don't particularly I'm not able to see JPL being that aggressive and that in your face.
I think NIP Flash, right? Zask is not picked up by either of these sides. Zask is usually countered by high loss. Now NIP Flash is a
there we go.
free carpet,
Zask.
literally glorious pathway to get this Zask out. And there you go, he's gonna snap that out right off the bat.
It's just a beautiful combo for Zask and Hylos. Zask just pops his Dominator's Descent.
It's
just having that extra layer of tank when you go onto the skirmish. RSG just runs for the hills. You protect yourself against, of course, the Juice In. A very, very irritating, so to speak, kind of repositioning skill that she'll get after that level 3 power spike.
Sorry, I just wanted to quickly mention that I kind of find the drafting of Zarate in this game actually kind of disgusting.
It is.
Because he's not making the choices for his team. He's making Youngin make the choices for his team at this point in time. I will explain and dwell down it a bit later.
Gato is open.
Gato.
It might be possible, and then you hyper carry the Ling.
It could also be a Hilda pick to counteract, to start hard invading against a Fanny. You can also start a heal.
I think that is a little bit too
delusional.
Much of a fast stretch. I wouldn't call it delusional. I would say that it is a very fast stretch.
Well, win early, then snowball late. Like that's the game plan for NIP Flash. They just want to end it early. It's a Saturday morning. They woke up early for this. They just want to go back to bed.
But their composition at this point in time, it allows them to be relatively on par with RSG SG regardless. They don't really have to put too much thought into the roamer at this point in time. But it does seem like they do want to play a little bit more of a counter engage against RSG while being able to be really good at team fights as well, since they are in fact lacking in a lot of crowd control. So at least when it comes down to Tigreal, that really boils down to being the heart of the team, I think that is still a very great pick.
Yeah, I love NIP Flash's pick. Like, I'm thinking, how do you take down Ling if he has so much escape mechanisms? Vanix is a very passive farmer and then very aggressive attacker in the late game. How do you take down that Harith when he just dashes, circles around you, protected by 3 basically huge tanks in that aspect? I mean, RSG, lots of work cut out for them. I think I'm really itching to see like JPL being very aggressive in the early game. We'll see how Yon responds.
Yep, with that all said and done, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump right in over to game number 1 of RSG versus NIP Flash here in MPL SG Season 8.
I really like this, man. Abstract and Juros, I gotta admit, I feel like Youngin is kind of taken aback about how the drafting goes. Like, if you notice the whole draft, it's Zarate that's leading the charge. They got 2 prior picks, the Hylos and also the Zask. It's really work cut out for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
At this point in time, it really just boils down to if you pick the mostly the kind of checkmate call is more of the high loss pick, right? Whenever you pick the high loss, you're essentially telling the opponents, yeah, you can't really pick the Zask at this point in time because I literally have a high loss. I will tank up the entire Dominator's Descent. So what's going to be your answer then? So at least when it comes down to Youngin, he made his choice of getting himself the Fanny as well as the Juicin. That pretty much means that NIP Flash would then pivot away from a hardcore AoE team comp such as a the Golden Trio between the Harith, the Juicin, as well as the Minotaur. But now that the Juicin is not available for RSG, NIP Flash have got this composition working out for them.
Well, I think how this is going to play out is NIP Flash is going to desperately try to shift attention away from the gold lane. Diablo is definitely going to have a very nice little stalemate with Closer because both of them are basically tanks. You don't really get your power spec until level 4, so we'll see a very huge skirmish on that. But hold on.
Hard Invader ready. That's also going to be the concussive blast. Yunsky getting brought down low just a little bit. Has to recall.
Actually, very good call from JPL. Try to force out the flicker early. Even though you don't get that kill, Hades is going to be safe for now, but here comes Yon.
Coming in, Hades dashes over the wall. That could have been an assassination. It could be a little bit of problem about the side NIP Flash, but still A-okay for now.
The main idea that we want to see from RSG is that we will want to see the very generic rotation coming in, right? The Roamer take the middle lane, and then the mages eventually head himself down to the bottom lane, which is something that we are definitely looking at. NIP Flash is already going to be the first team that has managed to get themselves all of them level 4, but we need to hold it down until the junglers themselves reaches level 5, which in this case is going to be the case.
Yunsky, that's going to be onward, and the Earth Shatter is here. Diablo joining in the fray. That's going to be Hades picking up the first blood. Y'all not going to trigger, but hold on a second. Roy pulling the horsey all the way back. Closer, doing a lot of damage. Diablo getting tossed like Ragdoll. The Glorious Pathway is the only thing that left him alive, but not for long. Closer will be able to find that kill.
That was such a good positioning from JPL. Waited at the bush. He knows that Yunsky is going to face check that bush. He's going to follow him, push him in, securing that first blood, waiting for Hades to come in and getting that kill.
Okay, that's also going to be in the lockup as well, and also the penalty zone. Hades picking up the turtle while the massacre is going. Yunsky, the battery, no, the punching back of RSG goes down. Y'all will be able to trade for JPL. It's a Roma for now, but in terms of kill score and also turtle, it's still NIP Flash leading the charge.
Messy fight. Like, JPL, I think in the first fight, after first blood, he wasted that implosion, so it was a little bit of a misplay coming in from JPL, forcing that flicker out just to save himself, but Yon actually found the right target and taking that one out. NIP Flash just got that turtle in the end, so far, still even Stevens as of now. I don't see much going on for either side. It could be anyone's game.
It's a very simple game plan for the both of these two teams at the start, right? Being able to find a pick-off onto the opponents and then eventually allow the funnel to work out for the assassins if the assassin is actually around the place. So at least when it comes down to kills alone, right? We are actually looking at NIP Flash that does have it a little bit better, with Hades getting himself a total of 2 kills, while Yon only have got a single kill to his name. This will all eventually become a bigger deal once NIP Flashes, or rather once the time eventually runs down the clock, maybe down to 6 minutes to 8 minutes into the game.
Oh. JPL waiting for CS. They know the rotation's coming in. Yunsky taking a lot of damage.
It's going to be a shower as well. JPL get knocked up sky high. Implosion will be activated. Yunsky goes down. Hades goes in. Also trying to spin for the win right here. Hades jumps into the Temple of the Blades. Dominant descent. Descending upon RSG. Courtesy escapes. But there's still Yunsky going down once again for the count.
Oh, JPL read them like a book. Diablo just keeping closer at bay, preventing him from going into the mid lane. Because RSG is trying to balance as much farm as they can. CS going down to mid lane, just funneling him as much as possible. He needs his Holy Trinity just to get on board. 5 seconds till the turtle spawns up. They're still in the gold lane. CS actually almost falling to Vanix.
So with the turtle currently available for both sides to kind of posture up, NPFL is the one that have got 4 members that is going to be right down here in the Turtles pit. While Yunsky is going to be the only one just tagging along with NPFL, but it all boils down to if whether RSG will want to contest for this, which in this case, no, they are not going to.
Yeah, Yon was just way out of position. It would have been a very huge loss for them if they were to be really aggressive. So just giving that turtle, I think, gives them a little bit of momentum down in the jungle. I was hoping for JPL to be a little bit more aggressive towards that Fanny, but no, he's actually very open and aggressive towards Yunsky. I think that is the Achilles heel for the side of RSG. He's watching where Yunsky goes.
You talk about Yunsky, there you go. He's actually going to get pushed by JPL once again. Out of 3 kills that NPFL has secured, Yunsky is that 3.
It's all Yunsky, but Hades taking a lot of damage.
The Battle of the Assassins coming in. CS coming in to also tag team just a little bit. Temples of Blade just to get on out. Nice dodge right here. CS maybe looking for more. Gets Law and Order by Diablo as well. Roy drags a Nightmare Spawn for some weird reason, but that's okay. NPFL is still in the game for now.
It's a very messy rotation coming in for RSG. They're panicking right now. They're forcing Claw to be going down to the bottom lane because he's losing to Vanix. Vanix pushing down on the top side. It's an evil trade as of now.
Trade indeed. Law and Order, Yunsky right there. Nothing to be done here at the bottom lane. RSG will rotate. Top side, NPFL applying a lot of pressure. First turret already taken away by NPFL.
Yeah, CS just losing a lot of time, watching down to the bottom side, taking the mid side kills. But I think I saw the itemizations. He's only got like 1 core item. NPFL is slowly building that up. There's no massive team fights happening as of now. I'm hoping that this turtle, once that top lane has been popped, Vanix is going to rotate down that mid side, so preparing for that turtle.
Law and Order being found. Implosion onto 2. Purify will be activated by Roy just to get out now, but get meets by the Dominator Descent as well. Yunsky once again goes down for the count, and Hades coming and picking up that kill. Already a mega kill already. Hades, woo, top of the blade, just how to get on the wall there. Yon, the cables doesn't connect. Hades get on the way alive, healing all the way using the Heart's Claws.
Oh, the cavalry's here, protecting Hades. Man, this is the chemistry that NPFL is showing. JPL, I wasn't expecting that implosion. He waited for 2 men to come in, no flicker needed. He just pushed everyone together.
At this point in time, it really just boils down to RSG unable to really get their mage in the game. When it comes down to Yunsky playing onto Edith, it does seem like Edith is constantly finding himself in very unfortunate positioning. As such, Roy is really not able to just kind of open up the map together with Yunsky. Because the main thing that we want to see between these two is
that's also going to be it. Yon has the cable out. Banix just dashing in on the Zaman Force as well. Diablo joining in the fray just a little bit more. Glorious Pathway will be committed. Diablo goes in all the way deep. Gets dragged by CS. And Roy, Diablo getting go in the punching bag. Vengeance will be activated. JPL looking for an angle. A closer comes in from the penalty zone. There's going to be CS taking out JPL. Unfortunately, alongside with his Diablo. Courtesy goes in with a Nightmare Spawn. Goes into Dominator's Descent right underneath the turret. Looking at closer. The Earth Shadow to slow it down. Courtesy doesn't really have to come over the ultimate. And NPFL has to back off, losing 2.
That doesn't matter. It's a macro play. All of the entirety of that fight, Hades was just pushing down that bottom side. RSG has to respond, losing out two side lane turrets. Yon taking a lot of damage from Hades already. And NPFL, they know how to scale. They know how to snowball. It's just an unlucky death, but they're still in the game.
It's interesting that Diablo just decides to do that, because usually you see Diablo, he wants to go in really deep right underneath the enemy lines and then just do a lot of damage. But this time around, he's sacrificing himself because Hades is just outputting so much damage as well. Glorious Pathway. Diablo goes in Law and Order. Roy should not be there as well. Good TT, that's also going to be the stun. Roy jumps into ultimate as well, and NPFL disengages.
Putting all their resources on the purple buff. They know Yon is... He's basically he's basically handicapped, no purple buff. And RSG, they're just scrambling. They know that Hades is fighting like in a fighter. That's the Thunder Belt being built up. He's looking to scale. But there's aggressiveness coming in. I thought he would end it early.
I'm actually kind of surprised how the fact that NIP Flash is able to kind of move together as a very stacked 5 without being punished at all, considering the fact that RSG, they actually do have the answers to these kind of 5-man stack, being Roy, Closer, and Yunski's what was Earthshatter, right? There's actually a lot of answers to what NIP Flash is trying to do, but RSG just doesn't seem like they are able to draw the line between them and NIP Flash, and NIP Flash just keeps on trembling down on the RSG. It kind of feels that confidence is definitely key, and RSG just don't have the confidence to kind of stand their ground and tell NIP Flash
that's a good
get away.
play. Catching Yunski is going to be CS jumping out just in the nick of time. Vanix will be credited for the kill. The Lord is already right now, and Hades still secures the Lord. Unfortunately, Yon flies in, but has to fly out. If not, he's going to be down. But Vanix, that damage still connects. Dominator's Descent, just cancelling out Roy. Roy getting caught in an awkward position right here. RSG slowly getting decimated by NIP Flash. That's a wipeout. That's a Lord taken down by NIP Flash.
Oh, NIP Flash. Oh, man. JPL actually made the right call. He know that they needed Roy to pop his Purify, pop his ultimate just to get out of position away from CS, taking him down first, and then Yunski quick to follow as well. So that was such an immaculate play. I didn't know why RSG wanted contest for this Lord. They should have just gave it because Yon was so far away. They know that they can't contest for a lot of these major team fights because what do you do when a horse is running straight to your face?
And not to forget, when it comes down to the level gap as well, right? Yon is currently only at level 13. The retribution damage is not as much as NIP Flashes. But in the meantime, JPL
getting caught, still catching 2 members with the implosion. 4 members left on the side of NIP Flash, but they do have the Lord to act as a player number 5.
Lord marching down the top side.
Yeah, that's a random kill onto Hades. So that is definitely a great one for the side of RSG. They did manage to pick up a kill on the Hades. Okay. So at least this is going to give them a little bit of breather space.
Yep, and at the very least, RSG is still going to stabilize just a little bit. That pickup is extremely good for RSG. Defending the Lord, that first Lord is supposed to at least clear out all the second tier turrets. RSG still kept theirs. So they're still in the game, technically speaking. But NIP Flash, this is their turn to basically try to regain map control.
Yeah, NIP Flash was at 5,000 gold lead at their peak. Right now, it's half of that. And RSG is slowly coming back. I think they found out the counterplay situation to how to take out NIP Flash. JPL is always in the front foot. He's always checking the brushes. Take him out first, and then maybe we'll go for a nice little kill outside of that map. And RSG is doing that really, really well.
And in the meantime, down in the middle lane, it definitely seems as though NIP Flash wants to posture up for a little bit more priority over the entire river line. And just kind of keeping RSG at bay so that they would not be able to kind of cross the river line, because that is literally where NIP Flash is trying to hold up every single one of their creeps. Just suffocate RSG from any form of farm, and NIP Flash would want to slowly and very steadily be able to get themselves more of a gold lead, which as we speak, currently we're looking at about 2,600 gold advantage. Not that huge for a 12-minute game, but eventually NIP Flash, if they keep up with this gap, I think that they should be able to get an even bigger gap.
Receiving into the late game, this is CS's game right now. It's like, if he doesn't die, oh, hold on.
Law and Order right in the face as well. That's a lot of damage. If Yon just misplayed that one, has to go back into base. NIP Flash just biting back, but CS getting caught on its own. BMI just to get out there. The RSG is literally playing with fire.
Yeah, and I think Vanix has that damage to just try to burst down Yon, but this is going to be a very, very crucial Lord for NIP Flash. RSG could very well contest for it. They've got the ultimates ready, especially for Closer's penalty zone. You need to be able to just hyper-focus their attention on the main damage dealers, and then a tank can do nothing.
Diablo, Ring of Punishment, just zoning everybody out. Roy, NIP Flash this time around, it's taking a slightly different approach. There's not a lot of aggression coming out. They've learned that, hey, RSG can hurt, and NIP Flash is going to play safe.
All about the counter engage for the side of NIP Flash, while they're just still going to be holding on to the aggro of the Lord. A little bit of a cha-cha per se. Diablo is taking quite a lot of damage just solely from the Lord. As such, might not be good.
Okay, catching Courtesy right here. Glorious pathway, making sure everybody from the side of NIP Flash staying alive. The Lord getting bunched down just a little bit. Hades still securing that. Yon a little bit slow, and now closer. It's still a little bit. Members from the side of NIP Flash, they're going to get focused onto JPL instead, but nobody from the side of NIP Flash lost. And Yunsky and also tag team with CX Vanik taking a lot of damage this time around from the auto attack. Courtesy and Hades, the terrible duo for the side of NIP Flash, will be able to secure Roy and that kill. 3 members from the side of RSG already down. Yunsky, one more dot. Yon coming in to try to save his teammate right here. Hades dashes across the wall, just playing with Yon on the cables, and it's massive coming out from the NIP Flash.
What a play from Hades! I wasn't expecting him to dash over the wall. No, you can't. No, you can't touch me.
Can touch this, literally.
Man, but the Lord secured. Hades was actually so smart because Closer was in the backside, trying to delay the approach, waiting for Yon to come in, but Yon was a little bit too slow. Hades got that Lord, and now NIP Flash again leading up on that economy and pushing down that top side.
We are 15 minutes into the game. The Lord is now going to be marching into the top lane, plundering and pillaging everything that RSG holds dear. And surprisingly, RSG is actually moving out of their base to actually take this Lord down. Definitely not going to be an all-out push down onto the Lord, but at least at the backside, Yon is, of course, trying to defend a little bit onto the mid lane turret. They're not going to hold much of a candle against NIP Flash at this point in time, looking at the 3,300 gold gap. But NIP Flash is just waiting for the right opportunity to eventually just jump right in.
Surprisingly, RSG is defending this really well, right? The Lord's, that's an enhanced Lord. It's already taken down at the top side. Yes, at least it doesn't crack the top side, but bottom lane though, is still, RSG's turret, second tier turret is still standing. Hold on a second. That's going to be Hades getting dragged just a little bit out of position. Temples of Blades will be able to allow him to escape for now. Yon maybe looking for some form of pickup. That's also going to be going pathway. NIP Flash will put the trigger onto the top side instead, and Diablo taking a lot of that punishment from the damage of RSG. And NIP Flash has to try to get all the way. Diablo getting dragged all the way back. Yon now putting damage. Look at Diablo still maintaining a lot of pressure, buying a lot of time for NIP Flash to buy his escape.
Oh, that was such a nasty play from Roy. Just focus his fire on Diablo. Yeah, you might have left RSG, but we're still here. We want you back. Come on in. And that's what they did precisely there. I'm just thinking, like, NIP Flash has a very strong split push composition. You can just put Vanix, JPL, Cortese, and Diablo just together and just force a team fight as 4 men. Why doesn't Hades go for the split push? It's because Yon has that damage to immediately take him down. And so I think they're playing it very passively. They know they want to take down and open up the side lane turrets, but they want to play it like a sort of like a 4-man team fight down on the neutral objectives, especially the turrets.
You know, the funny thing is, I actually feel that they didn't go for the split push. Definitely, when it comes down to the Fanny part, it is definitely very true. But a big part of me feels that NIP Flash, they are kind of toying with their food. They're not exactly having the right kind of communications as I was expecting, because there are definitely a lot more times whereby Hades decided to kind of do things solo Romeo kind of thing by just jumping into the opponents for no reason and then just using the Tempest of Blades, which would of course be a lot better for an upcoming team fight.
Yeah.
NIP Flash, they could have ended this game a lot sooner, but it kind of feels as though they're probably looking at something else as a matter of fact.
Oh, JPL pulls the trigger right there. Yunsky immediately getting bursted down, but jumped onto by 5 members of the side of NIP Flash. That's the Roma already gone from the side of RSG.
40 seconds on death timer. That's a free Lord over to NIP Flash. Doesn't look like RSG wants to contest for this, or nor they can.
Unless Yon tries to come in, but look at Diablo's positioning. Law and Order right in the face. Yon has to get on the right, cables around, but just overshoots just a little bit. NIP Flash showing down onto the Lord push right here. Yon getting a lot of damage now. RSG will need to try to play for time. Cortese still secures the Lord. Yon, he tries to steal, but the theft has been apprehended.
A ring around a Rosie. When Yon did manage to kind of keep NIP Flash in kind of a leash, I think that he did actually not too bad. Just kind of making sure that the opponents just don't whittle down the Lord all that much. In fact, it is actually kind of a lucky pickup to a certain extent that Cortese is the one that actually gotten the Lord. But regardless, they did manage to get the Lord. That is all fine and dandy. We are going to be looking at the Lord marching up to the top side, and NIP Flash ought to be able to end the game right now.
Just look
Actually-
at that, Churros.
Yeah.
Curtizy and Hades, the indomitable duo right there. High up on the damage dealt chart.
Yeah, I'm actually, my eyes is on CS. Out of all these fights, Claude was never in. He's always going to look for that push.
Okay. Speak about pushing, bottom lane. Getting pushed out already. No defense coming off from RSG for now. NIP Flash. They're just literally like what Amsher was just talking about. They're just toying with the food. 2 lanes already marching in. Mid lane is getting worked on by the side of NIP Flash.
With the middle lane now being threatened down. Hades though, Tempest of Blade.
JPL, implosion onto Mamba.
Oh!
9 penalties onto 2 to 4 people from the side of NIP Flash. But it's all for naught because NIP Flash is leading the bulwark, it's leading the charge. Again, RSG,
That is
the
so
garbage pathway to allow them to basically heal up. Just stand in the green carpet and you shall heal. And NIP Flash put a dent onto RSG SG's base. And now this time round, Yon trying to spin to defend. And now it's RSG defending against the Indomitable double Titans.
Vanix already have his Summon Force back again, so if they would want to continue this fight, they can definitely do so.
Yep, they can definitely do so. Yon as well, just spinning for the kill. Hades will be able to pick up their Roman right here. No more peel. Vanix still does have immortality, but the minutes marching down onto RSG's base as NIP Flash picks up game number 1.
Vanix eating up all those